Hello, and welcome to this module on the importance of local history archival research. Local archives hold the key to understanding stories of communities, the evolution of local industries, as well as cultural shifts that have shaped our surroundings. Today, we'll look into why these resources are so essential and how they connect to a larger historical narrative. To frame our discussion, we'll refer to Introduction to Public History, Interpreting Past and Gauging Audiences by Kirsten M. Lyon, Elizabeth M. Nix, and Rebecca K. Strum. This book emphasizes that public history is not just about uncovering the past, but it's also about making it accessible and meaningful to the public. Archival research plays an important role in this process. I believe the authors want us to remember that archival research isn't just about collecting information. It's about how we interpret the information and how we share the information as well. In an intro to public history, it points out our role as researchers and what our role is in connecting the past to the present day and those audiences in the present day, and not just make the connection, but make the connection meaningful and in meaningful ways. By doing so, we can ensure that these stories are going to continue to inspire people, they're going to continue to inform people, and that information can be passed along to future generations. As Nix, Lyons, and Strum discuss, archival research helps us to uncover everyday lives of the people who have lived before us. It allows us to look at their struggles, their successes, and the world that they built. These records allow us to tell stories that resonate with contemporary audiences, and they foster a deeper sense of understanding of our own communities. For example, I've conducted my own local archival research at the Thornatiska Heritage Center located here in Albany, Georgia. This archival center provided me fascinating details about Albany's local railroad history, and it is also home to the South Georgia Archives, which also shine a light on Albany's history. Through these records, at the Thornatiska, I discovered not just facts and figures, but also personal stories. I was able to make personal connections with the archivists at the archives. I was also able to see how the archives impact my community. And through these findings, it provided me with a rich understanding of how railroads shaped the identity of Albany and how it contributes to the broader history of the state of Georgia. So, as graduate students, a lot of us may question, how do we get started with visiting our archives? How do we actually get into the research? And what I started with was I looked online and I looked to see which archives were near me. And once I was able to locate an archive of interest that could relate to my topic and my subject, I just simply made a phone call to the archives. And when I spoke with the archivist at the archives, she was very nice and professional. She was able to schedule hours outside of the archive times for me to come in and visit and to get documents, because my local archive was only open 2 days a week, for about 3 hours. But she was very flexible in meeting with me because, honestly, people who work in archives are also people who love history, and they want to share that history with anyone and everyone who's interested in learning about that history. So the archivist helped me to be able to find documents. She showed me how to navigate through the databases. She allowed me to interact with particular primary and secondary documents. She was able to provide me with information of people who I could possibly interview for later projects. And she was also able to address me or show me how to locate other archives and to build a network of people who are in the history field. So if it may seem intimidating to get the process started, you never know who you might actually reach. And that person that you may reach in the archives is probably just as enthusiastic and just as interested in the topic that you are wanting to learn and understand. Um, so the Thornatiska Heritage Center actually has more than just the railroad archives and museum. It also has a local history museum. It has a planetarium. It has a science museum for local schools and children. It's also home to the South Georgia Archives, which has the history of not just Albany, Georgia, but as well as many other cities in South Georgia. And they have lots of personal effects and lots of local records of different communities in Southwest Georgia. It's also home to a museum for surveying and map making. It's also home to the Flint River Railroad Club, and it has a lot of history when it comes to business. Across the street from the archives is actually a local gazette. And you're able to view and look at that building as well. So there was lots for me to explore at the Thornatiska, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Before I conclude this video, I would also like to say that I was very thankful for the experience and this exploration, and I would like to thank you for joining me in the exploration of my local archive. It was a wonderful experience to be able to share what I've learned with you, and I would like to wish everyone a happy researching.